John, occasionally people's behaviour is probably not what it ought to be, and when you may talk to them, say, well, that's who I am, stiff. What would you say to them?
Well, there are two answers to that. One of them is complex and might get me into trouble sometimes with Christian believers who, as you indicated in an earlier question, get caught up in little arguments about small stuff rather than the big picture. Because the question, and I don't want to upset my fellow believers on this, but the question about whether God, as the ultimate creator of the universe, micromanaged the process, or whether God in fact released for the beginning of the Big Bang the potentiality for nature to even have freedom to develop itself, such as, of course, the Galapagos Island work that was done by Darwin really focuses on, the change within a species under changed conditions, environmental conditions. All of that's got to do with this. Because if you view that God has personally micromanaged everything, then it would be accurate to say God made me like this. But then you have a problem. Does that mean a child born with spina bifida was intentionally made like that by the God that Jesus talks to us about? I can't believe that, mate. And when I see the behaviour of rapists and child abusers and Hitlers of this world, I mean, if you're going to make that statement, I'm this way because that's the way God made me, you've got to apply it across the whole board. That's a chaotic view. I think there are certain things we can say came from God. We are made in the image of God. In a spiritual and moral way, it's deep there within us, whoever. But the way I am is not just a matter of this is the way God made me. It's a matter of which messages I received from my parents, from my society, and which messages I decided were to be deleted and which ones were to be embraced in the computer of my mind. I am what I am as a combined response to both my genetic inheritance, my family education, the old nurture and nature thing. They're both there. I don't like people saying that. I am who I am, don't tell me what to do. And it's a big thing in pop psychology at present. You have your truth, I have my truth, and I just have to respect your truth, no matter how stupid and demonstrably evil it is even, almost. I've got to just accept it. Now, I'd like to summarise it this way. I believe God loves you just the way you are. But I believe he loves you so much, he doesn't want to leave you just the way you are. That sums it up for me. I don't think God made me to be the bad moments of my life, but I do believe God loved me irrespective of what I am. The potentiality was all given to me by God. The potential to be good, bad, or indifferent was all given to me by God. But what I do with that is a freedom I think even the Bible teaches. That's why whosoever believes in him, that's why the scriptures say we have the choice to reject God, to not to believe in God, to follow God. We have all that choice before us that's given to us. But what we are is partly our personal choice, partly what we've done with the DNA we have in view of the nurturing or destructive forces that we experience in our culture, in our family, in our whole family history. Some of that comes through DNA, through generations. But we don't have to remain the way we are, and if the way we are is not truthful and loving, we mustn't stay the way we are. And I believe what the story of Jesus tells is God loves me just the way I am. Nothing can put me outside of that. But God loves me so much, He doesn't want me to stay the way I am. And that actually is a cradle to grave process of transformation after transformation after transformation. We talk about conversion in Christianity. Yes, you can have a dramatic encounter with God, be converted and be changed like the author of Amazing Grace, trading in slaves and a rotten man. And he comes to Christ and is transformed, becomes a minister, and writes Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. It saved a wretch like me. I once was blind, but now I see. That was because the way he wasn't the way God wanted him to be. But one day he was confronted by that grace, which we sing at funerals and everything. He was confronted by that grace, and it transformed him to become much more the man God wanted him to be.